Hello everyone,
Okay.
welcome back to our new session, new series in Boost My Career. With us is Nikhil Agarwal, who is a chartered accountant and working in a statutory audit division in one of the big four. So please welcome Nikhil, because in today's session he will be going to help you out in deciding whether a statutory audit is the right career for you or not. So hi Nikhil, how are you?
I'm doing good, Yokesh. How are you doing?
I'm also doing good, and people are looking at you because they want a clear cut, idea about what a statutory audit profile is. So, can you brief us about the role where you are currently working in?
Okay, so I'm currently working with the Big Four. It's almost 6 years that I've been working with this Big Four. Post my CA qualification, I qualified my CA in November 2015, and then I joined as a senior associate. Then I promoted to a senior, and after working for 5 years, I got promoted as a manager in September 2020, 2021. Sorry. So yes, so for statutory audit profile, how the things there is one thing that I want to highlight here, that there are two types of statutory audit profile. One is where you work for clients which are located in India and you are working as a primary team. So, okay, so that means there is no bridge. You work directly with the client. The another type of profile is where you work for global clients, where um, there is a client and then there is a team who is sitting outside India. Like suppose, for example, if I talk about like US, so there is a team which would be sitting in the US. And then you would be working with that team to support the statutory audit procedures for that particular client. Okay, so in that case, it is not 100% sure that whether you would be connecting directly with the client or not. It all depends on how your connection is, how your US team is comfortable sharing the things with you.
My question, Nikhil, is like as a manager, what are the roles and responsibilities assigned to you?
As an audit manager, we generally been assigned with two different type of role. One is client chargeable work, where we have to perform audit procedure for a particular client or multiple set of clients. Our team includes like a manager here, and then a senior or assistant manager, and a staff, where a staff performed audit deliverables, and then a senior reviews it, and then a manager reviews it for finalization of the things.
What are audit
Um,
deliverables here? Because you are
audit
mentioning this term again and again. So please, can you
so
elaborate what does it mean?
So audit deliverable means all the audit procedures which you perform to mitigate a particular audit risk. Okay, so when we start an audit, we generally decide what are the risks associated with this particular client. And then for mitigating those risks, we design audit procedures.
All right.
Okay. And in order to mitigate those risks, we perform certain audit procedures by we prepare multiple files to ensure that whether all the audit risk which we identified in the beginning of the audit or during the course of the audit are properly mitigated or not.
Right. So Nikhil, here is the catch. Like, people will not be able to understand clearly, those who are not from the audit background, like what
Yes, yes.
work you are actually doing in. For example, let me simplify it further. So you are saying that you prepare, you identify the risk associated with a particular assignment. Then to mitigate the risk, you design certain procedures, and you follow those procedures and prepare certain files, which are known as
Yes.
deliverables.
Audit deliverables, yeah.
Right.
So I can give you one example for
Yeah,
this.
please,
Okay,
please.
so suppose, for example, you want to audit a particular company called XYZ Limited. Okay,
Mhm.
you got their balance sheet, you identified what would be your materiality. Materiality means the magnitude of the error which you can bear. Okay.
Correct.
Then you identify what all accounts you would be testing to mitigate your risks. Okay. So I'm giving you one example, simple example, cash and bank. Okay. So for cash and bank, I assume like most of the time, the hard cash which is available is something which is below our materiality. So I'll put my focus on cash which is available at bank, which is
All right.
there in the bank. Okay, so since cash is a bank, our bank balance is a balance sheet account. Our major focus would lie on whether that balance which is sitting it in our books is something which is consistent, which is already there or not, and which is correct or not. So what we'll do is we'll perform certain procedures, like we'll perform some confirmations, like bank confirmation. We'll raise the confirmation directly to the bank to see
Mm-hmm.
whether, and will then when bank will confirm that okay, the balance for this particular SDFC bank account is like $1 million or something. Okay, so this is how something we ensure that whether the risk which we identified earlier was something which is correct or not. We also perform other procedures, like we also prepare bank reconciliation statement or review the bank reconciliation statement which was prepared by the client. We also perform some cutoff procedures, such as like whether if there is any transaction which was recorded by the client in their books, whether it is properly recorded in the correct period or not, like whether it's also reflecting in the bank books in the correct period or not. So this is how we perform some of the audit deliverables.
All right. So got a fair understanding of what work you are doing in. So let me simplify for my audience. Like for example, in any audit, you have to check each and every balance sheet item and each and every profit and loss item. For each and every item, there are certain assertions underlying that particular item. You need to check all those assertions. For example, valuation. In asset, you have to check the valuations. You have to check whether the ownership lies with the entity or not. Can you elaborate on the assertions which you check in the statutory audit?
So the assertions are like completeness. We ensure that whether the data which is provided by the client is completed or not. Okay. Then we see valuation, whether the assets which are valued by the client is properly valued or not. Okay. Then we see measurement, whether the data which is currently being provided is completely measured or not. We also see presentation and disclosure, whether the amounts which are there in the books of accounts are properly presented and disclosed in the financial statements or not.
All right. All right. So basically, if you are supporting the US client, then you have to check the presentation as per the US GAAP.
Yes.
Right. So every country has their different, different financial reporting frameworks. So whatever client you are supporting, whatever territory you are supporting, you have to first study those accounting standards applicable to that particular area, and what are the financial reporting frameworks that are applicable to that particular area. Only then you will be able to deliver the work, right?
Yes. So when someone joins a Big Four which is supporting US clients or UK clients, the audit firms give proper training to them on how the things would go for US clients or UK clients. Like they share with them some basic things on what are the basic things which are expected to complete and what are the things which is generally expected to be known. I mean, generally expected to be understood by a audit staff or audit senior who is joining the firm.
What are the difference between the Indian audit and US audit? So there are certain laws and regulation, US GAAP, as I told, which is applicable, but I'm not completely aware of what are those entire regulations which a person has to be aware of in order to enter this profile.
So it's more regarding the financial reporting frameworks. So suppose, for example, like for the people who are doing audit for Indian companies, they have to follow the Ind AS for revenue recognition. I guess it's 115. While people who are working for US firms, they have to understand the AS 606, which is revenue recognition.
All right. Okay.
The same goes with like other regulation, like people who work with Indian firms, they have to understand like what is the lease standard which is prevailing in India. Similarly, for the people who are working with the US firms, they have to see what are the leases standard applicable. They're like SC 840, 842, whatever.
This is only one part that is related to the accounting standard part. There has to be other laws and regulation which a person has to be aware of.
So how the things work in Big Four, they generally divide a person to a particular part only.
All right.
Okay, so suppose if you are assigned for audit, they will only utilize your time for audit procedures only and not for the other compliance check. There is a separate team who will be working on those things.
For example, there is a check on the TDS part, which we do in India, compliance part. So there will be a separate team who will do that?
Yes. So there would be a separate team, like tax team, who would be doing that thing. So how the things flow in Big Four, they generally have like 3-4 teams and all the teams have their different set of work. All
right, got a fair idea. I'll definitely summarize it later on for my audience. But now another question which is coming into the picture is, you are at the managerial level. But if I talk about anyone who is starting his or her career in this particular division of audit, supporting the onshore clients. So can you tell us the hierarchy which is available in the Big Four, right from the start and to the top?
Okay, so in order to enter a Big Four which is supporting US clients, there can be 3 or 4 ways a person can enter. Okay. So I'll start with the basic thing. First, a person has completed their BCom.
All right.
Okay. So if a person has completed their BCom or any other graduation like
Mhm.
BBA or so they can join Big Four audit firms as a staff level. Okay. And once they join the Big Four firms, they'll generally serve 3 years at a staff level. And once after the 3 years, they generally got promoted as a senior, audit senior. And then they have to work for like 3 or 4 years at audit senior level. And then they promote to assistant manager for like 1 or 2 years. And post that, they can be promoted as a manager.
After that,
So this is how the things go for.
after that, what's the hierarchy after
Another thing.
managerial level?
Okay, so once a person gets promoted to a manager, they have to serve like 4 or 5 years at a manager level,
Okay.
and then they generally got promoted at a senior manager level.
Mhm.
And for senior manager level, they also have to serve like 4 or 5 years, and then they got promoted as executive director level.
Mhm.
And after executive director, there is a call. The last step call is a partner level.
Mhm.
Even at partner level, there can be multiple level like managing partner, office managing partner, and yeah. So I've seen people who generally becomes partner at a very young age, but they still get a lot of opportunities like office managing partner or the other things at a partner level.
Right.
Now coming back to our initial discussion on how person can enter. So if the person has done their BCom and they have also done their like ACCA or CPA course, which is like ACCA is more like a US chartered accountant and CPA is more like a US chartered accountant.
Right.
So if they
ACCA
have
is for
done that,
UK. Basically, ACCA is for
yes,
UK.
yes, ACCA is for UK and CPA is for
Correct.
US and Canada. So once if there is any person who has done those things, they can join at the staff 3 level, or I can say, so in the initial part, I said that a person has to perform 3 years of staff and then he will be promoted as a senior. So if a person has done as a US CPA or a ACCA, they will generally join the Big Four firms at a staff 3 level, generally what I have seen. So they generally have to serve only the third year, and after completing 1 year, they get promoted as a senior.
All right. All right. Now, talking about the roles and responsibilities at each hierarchy level, I know that it will be difficult to tell about each and every hierarchy in detail, but at least you will be having a basic idea like what a audit staff does, what a senior audit staff does, what assistant manager does different from his junior. So how the roles and responsibility changes at each
Yeah.
level. This is something which is unique and is not told at any platform. So we would like to bring clarity on that aspect.
Yeah, I'll explain that thing, but yeah, continuing on the original question first. Sorry, I missed one thing. So if a person is a chartered accountant, that means Indian chartered accountant, they join directly at a audit senior level. They don't have to perform that staff level. Okay, so this is a new update which generally Big Fours have taken now. So when I joined 6 years back, they had this procedure that if a person is an Indian chartered accountant, they have to work for like 5-6 months at a staff level and the person to a senior. But for now, Big Four firms have started hiring those person as a senior.
Perfect.
Now coming to your next question on what are the difference
how the roles
in the
and
roles and
responsibility changes
responsibilities.
at each level.
Okay. So for the people who work at a staff level, they get roles in like preparing the work papers for the risk. So suppose, for example, as I initially mentioned, like cash. So if a person is a staff level, he would be completing the work papers, like he will be floating all the confirmations. He would be uh, asking the client to get the reconciliations. He would review the reconciliation, and then he will prepare all the Excel or Word files which are available, which needs to be prepared in order to mitigate those risks. So this is our role of a staff works.
Okay.
Then the role comes from a senior. Okay. So the audit senior generally reviews the deliverables which are prepared by the staff, and if there is any deliverable which was complex in nature and which was something that was not given to a staff in order, since it was complex, so audit senior prepare those work papers. Once senior performs his review, he sign off all his deliverables as a detailed reviewer.
That is done by senior staff, senior associate.
Audit senior.
Okay.
Audit senior. and audit staff signs off as a preparer on those work paper.
Okay.
Okay. Once they are done, the things handed off to the manager.
There is an
Okay.
assistant manager in between.
And yes, so assistant manager is more like a senior.
Mhm.
So you can just assume assistant manager as a senior. The basic roles and responsibility regarding client deliverable is same, but there are something admin things which are also being shared with the assistant managers.
All right. And what are those
Okay.
admin responsibilities? Just couple of responsibilities, if you can tell.
Such as basic like managing the team adults, or ensuring whether the proper work is being assigned to the seniors.
I can assume that at assistant manager level, that person will not be preparing the deliverables.
Yes, he will not generally not prepare the deliverables until and unless it is something which is extremely complex in nature.
Okay. On
Okay.
exception basis, few things can be picked by the assistant manager, but almost 90% or more is done by his juniors.
Yes, staff seniors.
Okay. Now comes the role of a manager, like whatever you are doing right
So
now.
at a manager level, our role is more if I talk about client chargeable activity, our role is more into completing the audit procedures, which are reviewing the audit procedures which are
Mhm.
performed by the seniors and staffs,
Mhm.
and also ensure that whether all the risk which are associated with that particular account is something which is mitigated or not, are completely cleared or not. So this is how we generally do this.
So that means
Our role
it's
also
the role of
includes
a
some of
manager.
that.
That means role of a manager is like acting as a second reviewer, because assistant manager has already reviewed the work papers.
Or if there is something which is prepared by a senior and assistant manager, then manager performs a first level review before sharing that things with the uh, onshore teams.
You are at the managerial level only, but still you will be having an idea what your seniors do.
So generally what senior managers roles is, first of all, they have to manage the entire team. Okay, so if I talk about a senior manager, they generally have a team span of like 60 to 80 peoples
All
under
right.
there. So first of all, they have to manage their bookings, whether there is proper work for everyone or not.
Mhm.
Along with that, they also have to perform some reviews as well, which are so it is possible that on some clients there is no manager involvement, like senior prepares and the things are handed off for review directly to the senior managers. Or it is possible that if on some clients, basis on the complexity, the things which are reviewed by the manager is also being reviewed by a senior managers as well. So it all depends on how the things are and what are the complexity in the nature.
And what about the partner level role? They are also managing the team, or there is some, do you think there is some difference between a director and a partner?
So a director and partner, I'm not sure too much on this because I have not moved that. But yes, what I feel their role is more in order to ensure that whether the audit is all the things which they planned at the beginning of the things, like audit plan, audit milestone, by when what things needs to be completed, they ensure that whether those things are happening timely or not. Or they also review some of the things which are critical in nature, like suppose for example for a particular client they feel that revenue is something which is more risky area, so they review the revenue. Or like suppose they feel that inventory is something which is a risky area, they review inventory as well. So that's how they also perform some reviews as well.
And they are also charged with bringing new assignments from the onshore team. So that is
Uh,
increasing the business for the firm.
yes. So their one of the major role is also to ensure that they are bringing proper business to the firm.
All right, Nikhil. Now comes the qualification part. You already told us, like CA, CP, ACCA can join, or even a BCom graduate can join and later on obtain his or her professional degree
Yes.
qualification. If I talk about the skills which are required for this particular role, so what can be those skills? It can be Excel, it can be communication, it can be other skills. So since you are being there
So
for a couple of years, 5 or 6 years, so you will be having a great idea.
So I feel the basic skills which are needed for this role is to understand what is accounting and what is auditing. Okay. So if you know what is accounting for a particular thing, you can also see how to check that thing if someone has already performed that thing. So this is audit is all about like checking what is
Being
done,
recorded.
already done in the books of account. Yes.
Right.
So
So
this is
one
of the
thing is
basic.
the accounting knowledge and how the things are, floating from right from the scratch to the financial statements. This is one thing which a person should be aware of. Second is auditing, because they need to know the audit procedures, how to check the completeness, measurement, accuracy,
Yes.
valuation. So they should be having an audit knowledge as well, like what documents needs to be checked in order to have a comfort over that particular deliverables.
Yes.
So these are two things. Third
Oh,
is like
yes.
Excel.
So
I think that
every
Excel is
firm has
required.
their. Yes, Excel is also one of the major thing which I guess everyone, I mean, every person should know.
Okay. Do they require a
So
PowerPoint or Word as well, or the Excel is the
yes, they
main?
need. Yes. So I assume almost more than 60% of the work is performed at Excel, or probably more than 70% as well, I can say. For the rest 30%, they do like Word or PowerPoint, but yes, Excel is the key software which audit teams use.
So I can summarize that three things are the primary skills which are required for this role. One is accounting knowledge, another is auditing knowledge, and third is the Excel. If anyone has these three
Yes.
knowledge and the qualification, and then definitely the communication skills part as well, because in Big Four you have to communicate with the onshore team and internally as well. So these four skills, if a person is having, then there are high chances that he or she can land a job at a Big Four level or at any good CA firm
Yes.
who have international affiliations. All right. And my last question, which is coming in, and I don't think that you will be comfortable in answering this question, but at least you can give a range, because people are interested to know about how much they can earn if they come into the statutory audit role. And I'm not asking about the salary at each particular level, but I am asking about a range from right from the start. Like, for example, a person who joins in, what is the minimum package? And after 20 years of experience, what could be the maximum package?
I don't think so. I would be able to answer that question.
Any hypothetical number?
I can.
May not be accurate, but hypothetical that this
I
is the
feel if a
potential.
person joins at a CA firm, I mean a Big Four, after qualifying CA, I feel I'm not sure about the range which is currently, but I guess something which is like 7-8 like something number that they can
Is the
get.
minimum they can
I'm not
start
sure if
with?
I guess
It is the
yes,
right number. It is the
yes.
right number.
Yeah, I guess because I'm not sure about what is the current range which is available, which is there now. But yes, I
But that is
assume
the
it is
minimum you
something which
can
is
assure. That is the minimum you can assure from your experience. That
yeah,
7-8 lakh a person can
yeah,
start at a Big Four level. And
yes.
how much it can go to the maximum level? Any after 20 years of experience or any 15 years of experience? Any
You
ballpark?
can just, I guess that person has to just add 15% every year for a 20 years period. I guess that is how they can calculate. Because I'm not able, I guess I'm not able to calculate what would be the something which is
because at each promotion
which a
level there
person
will
would
be
be
hike.
getting at the 20th.
At each promotion level
Even
there will be a more hike.
so I'm not able to I'm not sure about how hike is there at each level. Because it is something which is different in each organization.
All right.
Like for some organization, it's like 5%. For some organization, it's 10% as well. So this is something that cannot be commented. But yes.
So that's a Nikhil from my side. If you want to give a final wording to the students who are in the commerce field and want to come into the statutory audit role, what will be your giveaway, like advice? Who should come, who should not?
I guess what I suggest to someone who also come to me like, what should I do after 12? So I guess if a person is willing to do a CA and he feel that he can complete CA timely, I guess the CA is one of the best course that a person can have
for the statutory audit role.
And if they feel that CA is something statutory audit role, but if they feel that CA is something which they are not 100% sure, or they don't have like too much willingness on that, I guess they can enter into the statutory profile role even after their graduation. And for most of the Big Four firms support and sponsor their professional qualifications as well.
And what are those people for whom this course is not meant? Like, who should not do statutory audit? Who should not enter into the statutory audit profile?
I guess any person who don't like accounts and audit. So this is something, I guess, for that person, I guess statutory audit something would not be a better option.
Thank you so much, Nikhil, for your name. I hope you don't mind if we publish this on YouTube by hiding the firm's name if it is mistakenly taken in the video. and we'll
Uh,
publish that on our YouTube channel for the wider audience.
Yeah, I don't have any issue in that, but the only thing is that if you can just share a recording with me before
Definitely,
publishing that,
definitely.
before,
An
yeah,
unlisted video
if you
will
can
be
just
shared
share
with
that
you.
with me before, yeah, yeah, you can just share that with me before publishing, and then I'll confirm.
Perfect, Nikhil. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
I
you.
know it's valuable, and since it's our first session, you are the first guest in our Boost to My Career new venture, because it is newly started. Earlier, I was guiding the students, but we thought that we need to upgrade ourselves to tell them about the profiles which are more relevant to the commerce students. So thank you, Nikhil, for your time. Thank you so much.